Yep, that is better. Let me clean off the lens. Grab my glasses and close the blinds, although it's still daylight out. Sun is already set. Da-da-da-da. All right. And what else? Got my water. Yeah, that's good. That is good. Do. So I am back. Do I need the other light on? I don't think so. But I am cold. So let me. Uh-oh. Knocked over my little mobile Gundam figure. The pilot, not the actual Gundam. See if that stays up. All right, that's good so far. Get my glasses out. Clean these bad boys off. Let's see if anyone comes in. This is going to be Ask Me Anything Friday the 13th edition. But yeah. So we had two Friday 13ths in a row, one last month and one this month. So after I get off of this, I'm going to watch the reboot of Friday the 13th since I never saw it. I saw all the other 2000 reboots of all the other horror movies and they all suck, by the way. I saw the 2000s remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. It was all right, but yeah. Then I saw the reboot of Halloween in the 2000s. Again, that was yeah. So I didn't see the Halloween one, which I mean, sorry, the Friday the 13th one. So just my filter and already ready to block people. Boom, 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 boom. So anyway, Friday the 13th, and like I said, this Ask Me Anything format. Of course, because so many people are fucking retarded, I have to put up several provisos when I say Ask Me Anything. The provisos are these must be family friendly questions. Don't ask me anything obtusely uh obtusely inappropriate. Okay. Two, um don't ask me therapeutic or relationship questions unless you're going to drop a super chat. Three, um, I don't answer legal questions because I'm not a lawyer. And why people will ask the host of a live stream legal questions is pretty pathetic. Like, um, I would be worse than a public defender. And the best I could tell you is to hire a lawyer. What's up, Carlton? What's going on, bro? It's been a few days. Um, you weren't here. Were you here when Miss Needle made a reappearance? I was surprised. I didn't even know she still watched me. I thought she hated me. Which she actually might. I don't know. She could have just came here out of boredom, but I still wish her well. She's still a cute little German snow bunny. But yeah, she reappeared. So even the wifey was like, was because the wifey was moderating that day too, and she was like, um, she said hello to Miss Needle because I think they had a little friendly. Uh, I think they follow each other on Instagram as well because we all know each other's like real names and everything. So as a matter of fact, there was one of the videos when I had her on when I had her when I was interviewing her, I had accidentally put out where she really stay, and she told me about that later when we were talking on Instagram. So I was like, oh shit, let me go fix that. So I actually poured through hours of both the interviews I did with her. I think I had her. Actually, I had her on more than twice. I had her on like at least three times, maybe four. I can't remember, but it was at least three times. And I poured through them to make sure I removed, where her actual whereabouts are, because I didn't. And she was the one that was like, "You tend to overshare information," so that's why I've been, a lot more low key about stuff, about where I am, and my personal details and stuff like that. I don't even say anymore where my home is overseas, even though people can't get to it. I just don't want to put that out there anymore either, because I used to put that out there. Luckily, that was a long time ago, and no one's going to pour through hours upon hours of my live streams and videos to try to find where my overseas location is. Uh, what do you say? So what was funny every time you went live the last couple of times I was at the gym. Oh, okay, that's where you. Okay, no, ain't no biggie there. That's a good thing. If you're hitting the gym, that's good. I'm not going to deter anyone from hitting the gym. That's for sure. All right, these are clear. People always make fun of my glasses saying they're smudged, and I can't help it because the oils on my skin get on the lens. Same thing with the phone, so I had to end up wiping them both off. Uh, so I'm kind of hyped because I drank some Dr Pepper. Since I rarely drink soda, when I do have it, it's like a cup of coffee to me. Oh, and I have my new toy. Uh, there's another little nifty little EDC gear. It's a necklace knife, so you can just boom, wear this around your neck, and it's a fixed blade. So you know, it's fixed blades are generally better for self defense than a pocket knife. I do carry a pocket knife, but I don't carry it really as a primary weapon. I carry it as a utility tool, or as a. I think it has a glass. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a glass break. Well, my tactical pen has a glass break on it, so I can use that. If I'm jammed up somewhere. Whereas the pocket knife, I would probably use to do something like cut a seatbelt open or something like that. But this is actually something I would actually pull as a weapon, as opposed to a pocket knife or something. Like my go-to weapons are going to be like my tactical pen or tactical flashlight, and then something like this where I can instantly draw this out, and it's fixed blade, so I don't have to worry about opening the blade. I can instantly just yank this out, pause, and go to work if I have to. Uh, what's up, Kathleen Miller? Carlin says a Hawaiian wouldn't see that knife. Exactly. They don't know about stuff like this. Like they all carry pocket knives though. Like everyone in Baltimore carries pocket knives because they're legal. As long as they can see the as long as the clip is viewable, then the pocket knives are legal. So everyone, just about everyone, carries one. To me, I don't want you to see my weapons because one, it lets you know what I have, and two, it looks threatening when you're walking into stores and they can see a clip of your pocket knife. So I'll let them see the clip of like my tactical pen, and but usually I'll have it in my hand when I'm just walking around. But I'll have the clip, and like if people are worried, I'll just be like, if people look down at me because they think I got a knife, I'll just be like, oh no, that's just my pen, and they'll be like, oh okay, not knowing it's a tactical pen, so I can still fuck someone up with it. But a pen doesn't strike people immediately as a weapon. So you MacGyver that shit on them. Yusef says, keep it up. What's up, Yusef? You're not the Yusef that I know, are you? No, 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 no. No, you're sorry. No, your last name is different. Bebo 976458 says Shreveport Fire Department. Shout out to Shreveport Fire Department. So I've responded to many vehicle extractions. So when you did that, so what did you do? Did you pull like a good pocket knife to cut them out of the seatbelt, or have to use like a glass breaker to break the windshield so you can extract them out the vehicle? Like these sort of tools are very useful um, for first responders as well. Yeah, definitely. Griffin, first of all, that shit doesn't work on me. Try that stuff on people with IQs as long as low as yours, Griffin Martin dash 4GT. Like your mother, for instance, like she likes to suck up a lot of cum in her mouth, so that kind of makes her lower IQ because she absorbs the stupidity of all the babies that she's swallowing. Unfortunately, she didn't swallow your father, and that's why you exist today. But you can follow her cue by swallowing this nut in your mouth. Anywho, Bevo's is my station. It was right off the interstate. Big rigs always wrecking out there. Wait, so what? Why are they always wrecking though? Like, is it like a sharp turn, or uh, is there like some sort of incline? Bad or inclement weather will make them skid off the road, or are these people just reckless? Beagle says Shreveport is a 70% black city. I've seen everything in the city. Oh yeah, yeah, I know. I'm aware. Um, shit, I was almost out that way long time ago when I was still in the army because when I reenlisted, I had chose as my permanent duty station Fort uh damn it Fort Pete po- not Fort Polk, is it not, no, it wasn't Fort Polk, Fort Pete, I can't remember, but right outside of oh I can't, man. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I forgot the name of that other major city, besides New Orleans and Shreveport. Um, damn. But yeah, I would have been out that way. So, and I know that city in particular was like mostly black. I know Shreveport is mostly black. I think 50 Cent bought up a lot of real estate out Shreveport like a few years ago. Like he was doing some serious like real estate deals out there. Mm. Bevo says it's the sixth most violent city in the country and third poorest. I didn't know it's the sixth most violent, but I can believe it. Like Baltimore is what, number three or number four right now, um, and they only it's only behind like what I think like St. Louis, um, maybe Detroit, um, a few others. Yeah, yeah, I've heard Shreveport is kind of wild. But you know what? The thing is, in a lot of those problematic uh, cities, it's usually the best place to buy real estate because it's cheaper. And sometimes that fuels conspiracy theories that the powers that be want these places to be crime ridden just so they can, it makes it easier for them to buy up the land. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's definitely a consequence of it. Beaver says I use both. Got to be real careful not to get cut. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Like I said, you have, because some of the pocket knives are rescue knives. So they already have the glass breaker on it. Then you have the blade, so it's two in one. Mine doesn't have that. I should have bought that one, but instead I just bought this one. This was like just a basic um, army service knife. So yeah, yeah. Do I need to re-oil this? I might need to re-oil this. You see the dust on it. You can the lint on it. You can see how I put this to use. But yeah, this would be a good, this army service knife is a good thing, like cutting seat belts or other stuff. Oftentimes I just use it to open up envelopes. um, but yeah, this is a pretty good one. Like I could have splurged like what I think it was like what $5, no about $10 more to get the rescue knife as opposed to the regular service knife, and then we had the glass breaker edge. But I like this one. And like I said, I have like my tactical pens, which I take with me everywhere because they can, you can take these into government buildings or sports sports arenas or even TSA. You just gotta cover up the glass breaker tip with the cover. So like these two, I would take like so through TSA. I would take this one, not this one because I don't have a cover for the glass breaker. But I could use this one, and this has a glass breaker tip as well because that's the part you hit them with as well. But you can this also works as a flashlight. So so and you can screw the you screw this off, and that's the pen, and then you just put that over the glass breaker tip to hide that, and they'll go through like TSA. It also has some other gadgets. You unscrew. Oh, wrong side. You where's what side is it on? Oh, you unscrew the glass breaker tip, and it has a multi tool part on it. So there you go. So I like this tactical pen and slash flashlight slash multi tool. It's pretty cool. Then I have my regular tactical flashlight. So it has the beveled edge to to make as a blunt weapon, but it's very bright. This will instantly blind someone. If you flash it in their eyes in the, at in the evening, of course. So all about my EDC gear. So just got this like 3 days ago. um, People say yeah, the roads are really bad here, and when it rains, people can't drive. Same here. Well, traffic in Baltimore is really bad. Like we have some of the worst traffic in the country, and I'm not like saying that to brag. Like I'm saying that to complain because traffic is so bad here. It makes car insurance really high. So that's why you know before when I still had my car, because I travel a lot. I don't have a car anymore because I don't see the purpose. It's just it would Plus, I'm planning on going back overseas permanently, so I will be buying a vehicle over there, which mostly will be for the benefit of the little lady, Mrs. Contrarian, because I plan on buying myself a bike. Now, now get us a SUV, for our family, and we will, then I'll have the bike for myself. But yeah, when I did have a car here, I used to use my father's address in the DC suburbs because the insurance was much cheaper there than in the Baltimore area. Easy is Fort Polk outside of Alexandria, Louisiana. Okay, I was right. It was Fort Polk. Yeah. So that was gonna be my permanent duty station because they had gave me a bunch of them to choose from. But I wish I had chose the one in South Korea because it was like between South Korea, uh, Fort Fort Polk, um, and Fort forgot that place is in Tennessee. I didn't choose that one because I was like, I don't want to be in Tennessee. There's literally nothing there. I mean, not no diss to anyone watching from Tennessee. Tennessee looks like a great place to visit, but I don't think I want to be stationed there unless I was like um, doing some special ops training or something like that. But that wasn't my MOS. uh, so and then the fort, the place outside of um, Washington State. It's like a combined naval and army installation. So originally I was gonna pick that, and then the guy was like, he's like, he's like, oh, it's a nice. He's like, it is a good duty station. He was like, but it's gonna be. He says more expensive to live out there. So he's like, he said, I would tell you South Korea. He said, but I can't tell you where you're gonna end up. He said, I would do that he said, if I were you, I would do that on your second rotation, not on your first rotation, because on your second rotation you get to choose exactly where you want to be. I was like, cool, all right. So I chose Fort Polk, but then I ended up not doing it because when I reenlisted is when I ended up getting my medical discharge before my reenlistment finished. So anyway, Lafayette, Louisiana. Okay. He said, "Yo, 50 Cent is in town trying to bring some stuff here. I pray things get better." Yeah, I know he's buying a real estate, and I think he also was trying to do some film deals out there too. Like I think he wanted to do some of his filming for some of his shows or whatever in Shreveport, which I mean that's a big up, right? Because that will bring opportunities to the city, sort of like when The Wire was filming in Baltimore, it got a lot of local talent um, on a national stage. Although a lot of them fucked that up because a lot of them were really into crime, not too distant from their characters they were playing on the damn TV show. Like the little the little bull dyke chick, I forgot her name, but she was really into crime. Mm. I don't know what's up with not a Gremlins, uh, but it sound like he could go on a little timeout. Beal says, yeah, on a $55,000 salary, I bought and paid for a fairly decent 140,000 house. See, that is one of the reasons why people are moving back south, moving back down south. It's more affordable. I'm gonna tell you right now, like 55,000 isn't bad at all. It's nothing to sneeze at. But in Maryland, this is an expensive state to live, a really expensive state, and like it I gotta tell you right now, 55,000, like you can live off of it here, but not well. It is so freaking expensive here, man. It sucks. Then made it worse that the the current governor got his sorry. It, and what made it worse is the current governor got us in a $1 billion deficit. So to try to handle that, they started taxing the shit out of everything. Like they raised taxes on things that are already being taxed. Then they start putting extraneous taxes on things that didn't need to be taxed. Like seriously, like they had a snack tax, like on like chips and stuff like that. Like what? Like seriously, like they were just taxing random shit, and now they're gonna cut spending on stuff. Even though he doesn't want to say they're gonna cut spending, they're gonna start cut spending on a lot of things as well. But it was already expensive to live here even before this $1 billion deficit 2 years ago, and now it's just made worse. So yeah, 55 here. If you're a single man, I'll say this. So if you're a single man making 55,000 a year, you can live. Yeah, you could definitely live a decent life. But as far as affordability for a house, I don't know about that one, bro. Like, uh, probably in Baltimore City, but even then, um, it's not going to be in the best areas. Like, I already have a friend who just moved into a new home in Baltimore in a developing community. Like they're literally starting to build this community up, and he still had his apartment. And he didn't want to live in it. He didn't want to stay in his apartment a few nights ago when we were coming back from the gym because he was saying there's a bug infestation within the building. And he was like, I don't. He's like, I don't even feel comfortable because I feel like I would have bugs creeping up in my bed at night. And I was like, man, I know the feeling. I was like, when I used to uh, visit a cousin in East Baltimore, the house was infested with roaches, and it wasn't even their fault. Like their house wasn't dirty, but you live you live in a tight space with other row houses all sharing the same alleys, the same filth. Some of your neighbors may not be as cleanly as you are, and so because of that, the roaches that inhabit the buildings will come everywhere, even into clean spaces. Now, the only good thing is like like they really don't. They, well, I can't say really good, but they rarely came out during the daytime when we were out and about because they avoid people. But at night they were everywhere, and you could literally like see them like creeping up on the bed and all. Like it was cringy. I I don't know why I kept coming to visit him. Like just for the love of my cousin, I would come out there. But it was horrible coming to his house and you know having that sort of fear that something's gonna crawl on me when I'm sleeping. But anyway, that all of that's to say, like uh, like I understand why he wanted to go back to his apartment at night. So he's like, I'm gonna just sleep in my house tonight. Um, and he's like, plus I got stuff on the way from Amazon, and the stuff got stolen from the Amazon delivery got stolen. And he was like, man, why didn't the guy just drop it off by the garage? He said no one goes back there. That's like because they're on a time crunch, and he probably, the way he was like, yeah, I get it, but he's like, still, he could have just went right back there and dropped it off. I was like, he probably wasn't thinking that. The thing he's thinking is to drop off my delivery and make the next one. Um, but he's like, man, they stole. He's like, he stole. He's like, they stole everything. He said, even the TV mount. He's like, who the fuck steals a TV mount? I was like, niggas do. Niggas will steal a TV mount. I was like, you think they won't? Anything a crackhead can possibly sell they will steal. Like if it's not bolted down, they will steal it. It doesn't matter what it is. Seriously, like he was like, now I can't even mount my TV, which I think he was gonna do yesterday or today. I'm not sure, but he's like, I can't now because I have to buy, get their stuff again from Amazon, and they make you, if you declare something was stolen, they make you wait a day before they will send it out again because they want to make sure of course people aren't lying, just trying to get free shit. But though that would be this like, and where he's the house he built, like the house that he got is not cheap at all. Uh, and I just think living in the city, the amount of money he paid for that house, um, was a lot, and the amount that someone else would pay for one of these uh, more affordable row houses is going to be in an even worse area, places that are crime ridden. Yes, homicide is down in Baltimore, but quality of life crimes are up. That's what I keep explaining to people from outside the city, because they will keep believing everything that they hear from the mayor and the Baltimore mayor and the Maryland governor about how safer it is in Baltimore. I'm like, yeah, I guess they would feel safe when they have 24 hours personal armed security following them. But quality of life crime is up, which is like, theft, burglary, car break-ins, um, you know, drug trafficking, um, all that sort of stuff. The sort of stuff that makes living in the community absolutely miserable. Quality those quality of life crimes. And I know I sound like I'm jumping around. I have a point to all of this, but the that sort of stuff, those quality of life crimes make living in the city absolutely miserable. Now, and I told my friend, I was like, this is why I wouldn't live in a city. Like I would literally not live in a city unless it was in a gated community or in a luxury condominium. That's about it. That way I don't have to be around negroids. But yeah, that here in Maryland, like I said, it will be hard. You'll be hard pressed at 55,000 a year to live in a nice neighborhood, unless it's in a rural community. In a rural community, yes, you can find something nice, but anywhere like in the BW, within the BW Beltway, mm-mm, it's gonna be hard unless it's mm, I don't know, maybe with FH like a FHA loan or something, maybe, or a VA loan if you're a vet. You could probably get something decent either through FHA or VA. But hey, I this is why a lot of people are moving back down south because it's more affordable. Like the fact that your 55,000 can stretch so much farther in Shreveport as a part as opposed to Baltimore or DC. DC, forget about it. Like Baltimore is expensive, but DC is makes Baltimore is nothing compared to DC. DC is more expensive than New York City right now. Like seriously, I most people in DC, if they're not wealthy, they have roommates, and that sucks. Like you shouldn't be over 30 years old and still have to live with roommates unless they're like your family or something. But being over 30 and you still gotta have roommates to live on your own, you might as well live at home. So, and which is what a lot of people are doing. Anyway, sorry for that rant. Abi was a sick knife, smart to have that pen. Always got to protect yourself. Yeah, because like I said, the tactical pen can go anywhere. Like I said, you can take it into government buildings, you can take it to sports games, you can take it through TSA. Um, it's non-threatening, so and it's nice to have. Plus, it's just it's an essential tool. Like you need pens, right? So it's just a pen that also has a glass breaker tip that you can use either in an emergency or for self-defense. Like it's a really good thing to have. Like I think I know like a lot of self-defense instructors, particularly who have a background in like law enforcement, usually will promote people having something like a tactical pen or a tactical flashlight. Roy Val says always have a weapon 100% of the time. I even sleep with a weapon on me. This is for fight. No, I was really this for fighting. This for fun, but no. Um, I don't know about sleeping with one, but I keep one right next to the bed. With well, actually, I mean, I keep like right at my bed. I keep my bug out bag, so my bug out bag is right where I sleep. So in case shit goes sideways in the middle of the night, because usually emergencies happen in the most inconvenient of times. Like like emergencies rarely happen at a convenient time, like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It's 70-degree weather. It's sunny outside with clear blue skies. You've already had a nice cup of coffee. You're dressed and relaxed, and it's like, oh, okay, there's emergency. Well, here I go then. No, it's emergencies usually happen at the most inconvenient of times, so it makes sense to have a weapon close to you. So like I said, I don't sleep with my weapon, but I do have one like right next to me, um, at my bed, um, uh, alongside my bed, and then on the other side of my bed is like my bug out bag. So, and when I'm overseas, I keep that stuff close to me as well. Beagle says, "I believe your traffic is bad, especially after that bridge collapse." Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, so I don't live on that side of town, so it doesn't really affect traffic here. Um, I mean, traffic is bad here just because a lot of people are bad drivers. That's what I mean by like the traffic. Like there are a lot of vehicular accidents in this community, and I don't know why. I should probably Google it or ask ChatGPT why there's so much bad, like why there's so many bad drivers in this neighborhood. I mean, not this neighborhood, in like the greater Baltimore area. I probably will actually if I get off the stream. Probably ask Google Gemini or ChatGPT like why there's so many bad drivers per capita within the greater Baltimore uh, metro area. But yeah, when I say there's a lot of traffic, I mean there's a lot of bad drivers. Like even like especially around here, it seems like as soon as it's a Friday, traffic gets worse. Like there's a lot more accidents every Friday. When it's inclement weather, of course, that's going to drive up the incidence of accidents as well. But people would just do stupid stuff like I'm turning into the mall and the guy's driving up the wrong side of the road looking at me like I'm crazy when he's in the wrong fucking lane. And he should know he's in the wrong fucking lane because there's a divider between the lanes. It's not just simple, it's not simply a painted the little painted stripe. It's like there's a like an island between the two lanes, you know, for outgoing and ingoing and into the parking lot for the mall. And he's looking at me like I'm crazy when he's in the wrong side. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He was old, so I don't know, maybe he was having a senior moment or something. But this is why there's so many accidents around here. Beagle says, "Don't blame me for wanting to leave the USA. This cesspool is done for." Oh yeah, yeah. That's a whole different topic, but yeah, definitely. Well, reason being is like I have my family and in-laws overseas in Southeast Asia, and it's cheaper over there and it's a freaking paradise. Like it's nice all year round. So it's just a freaking paradise. It's where this is a place where a lot of people go to retire. So I want to go there before retirement. Um, as well, I was already living there briefly, and then I came back here unwisely. I should have just stayed there. So I had been living there for months, and decided to come back here because I was originally going to bring petition for my wife to stay here, and I realized that's a bad idea. So the plan now is to go back there and stay there because it's you know cheaper, better living. Um, the wife and all her family are there. We have a place. Um, what else? And and plus all the creature comforts that I like here, I can find where we live out there. Like there are these massively sized shopping malls out there, and unlike here, the malls out there aren't dying because they're not being outcompeted by big box stores like like Walmart and Target, and they don't have to compete against Amazon. Although Amazon it does now deliver out there, but most people aren't going to. Only wealthy people are going to really buy from Amazon out there because they have to pay for that. You know, for the price of things being shipped um, out uh, out to that country. So even though Amazon is now available, like the average Filipino isn't going to isn't going to order Amazon because they already have two two online shopping stores similar to Amazon out there already. One is called Shopee, and the other one's I forgot the name of the other one, but like I said, they already have like their own local variants of Amazon out there. So they're not going to buy from Amazon when it's going to cost them like 3 to 10 times as much as it would to just shop locally or to buy from one of the local online stores like Shopee over there. So that way, in that way, the malls don't have to compete with these mom and I mean sorry with these big box stores or massive online shopping like Amazon and eBay like they do here, which has pretty much killed the local economy and the shopping malls. Like you go out there and the shopping malls are just I don't know how old you are, but the shopping malls are like at their height they were in the 80s. Like that's when I think shopping malls had reached their height was in the early 80s. That's what it's like going to a mall out there. It's really and like they have the largest malls in the world. Like at one time, two of their malls were the largest in the world. One was the Mall of Asia, which is still the third largest, and North Edsa Mall, uh, which technically is the largest, but the Mall of Asia is bigger because they had opened up an IKEA out there, which extended the mall. But technically, the North Edsa is bigger in Quezon City, and then they had another one which I lived right nearby. I think it was probably even in walking distance. It's just that you can't walk it because we lived off of uh, the Edsa Highway, which was not walkable whatsoever. Um, but those have been those no longer the largest malls because there was one that opened in China years ago that became the largest mall, and then that one was made the second largest mall because then one opened up in Dubai that was even larger because Dubai has to do everything grand. It's one of the reasons, and Dubai is just for people who want to like ball out. I'm not interested. That's why I haven't been there yet because it's like I I just I don't have the interest in it. I probably will end up going there one day, or maybe to Sharjah, which is right outside of Dubai, which I heard is nice for people who want to visit the area but don't want to deal with the whole Vegas like atmosphere of Dubai. Anyway, so they have the largest mall in the world, but the Philippines still has the third largest, and it's a really massively large mall. Uh, Carlos says the Wire had real criminals on the show. It really did. What was the name? I can't remember the name of her. Carlos. What was the girl who was like the dyke, but she was like she because I never really watched the show that much. I ended up watching like half of the last season just because I was watching it with other people, so I was watching what they watch, and uh, I can't remember. I think Snooky or some. I forgot where her name started. Not Snooky. That's that's I'm thinking of that character from that MTV reality show. That was Snooky. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the girl, but you know the girl that was like, she was like the little dyke who was always, I think she was like always killing people, whatever, and then the dude killed her at the end of the last season or whatever. Um, I can't remember, but yeah, she was in some real life crime. Her and a few other people, because like I said, they were hiring local talent, but some of the local talent were mixed up in the streets, which was crazy. I mean, it made the TV show more authentic, but that's just sad that you get put on to Hollywood and you can't, and it doesn't dawn on you to leave that lifestyle. Like you don't have to still be on the streets when now you have a pathway to Hollywood. Like maybe they may not have been in like major productions, but they definitely had an entryway into like, maybe some of the lower budget films and perhaps TV that were available. I'm pretty sure they can make their way into a Tubi film. Shit, we could probably do a Tubi film right now. Shit, all we gotta do is get a camera, get a few women. We can make a Tubi film right now. Shit, it'll say Tubi. We're black. Uh, we want to make a movie. Tubi be like, shit, here you go. Like I don't know what the criteria for Tubi is, but shit, a lot of stuff on Tubi comes straight off of YouTube, and I'm not even joking. Like a lot of YouTubers, their content now streams on Tubi. Like Matt Pat, which I guess his real name is Matthew Patrick. His game theory and food theory and film theory, they're all on there. I never watched game theory because I'm not a video game enthusiast, but I used to always watch film theory, and I started watching food theory. So those are on there. Mr. Beast, his show is his content streams on Amazon Prime, I believe, so, or Hulu, one of them. But a lot of those little YouTube comedians, a lot of their stuff is all on Tubi, like Big Ja, who does stuff like the what was it called, My Lesbian Girlfriend or Lesbian Homegirl, whatever. Like that's on there. All the Big Ja and all those other guys, because they're all in a they were all part of like a comedy troupe out of L.A., and so they make similar content, and they all like make stuff with make different like comedic skits with each other here on YouTube. A lot of all that stuff now is streamed right on Tubi. So all you gotta do is get a large enough following here on YouTube, and you're black, and you can finally find your way on Tubi. Like I said, I'm down with that. You know what I'm saying? I'll def I I literally said that, like, I remember saying this like months and months ago. I was telling my friend, I was like, low key, I wouldn't mind starring in a Tubi film. People says 55,000 ain't shit up north. I mean, it's not that it ain't shit. It's just that, uh, like I said, as a single man, it would be as a single man. Yeah, you could live comfortably off 55,000, but I don't think you will be able to. It won't have the purchasing power up here that it has, down in Louisiana. Um, like I said, buying a house here. I mean, like I said, you can luck out and get an FHA loan or maybe a VA loan, but yeah, but if you were gonna get a commercial loan, it would be difficult. It would be definitely, and like I said, it would probably be excuse me, it would probably be in a less desired community for sure, unless it's like out in the rural parts of Maryland, which are nicer by the way. I mean, it's nothing knocking being in one of the more rural parts of Maryland, like out uh perhaps Western Maryland, like out past like uh Frederick, out towards like places like Hagerstown, places like excuse me, places like that would probably be more affordable. But within the BW Beltway, absolutely not. The BW Beltway, forget about it. Which I'm talking about the Baltimore Washington Beltway. Mm-mm. Like the average income around there is about 120,000 a year, and most of these people are federal employees, which coincidentally is about the average that a federal employee makes in the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, is about 120,000, and is even higher within DC itself, within the district. I think within the district is like 130, 140,000 a year on average. And that's on average. Like a lot of people there think that a lot of people out there, like 100,000 to them is not making it. Like these people are making 200, 300, 400,000 a year. Um, so yeah, in the BW area, as a single man, like you can live comfortably, but um, you'll probably be maybe in an apartment, or you will have to get a house in a less desirable area, or probably try to get that FHA loan. But I won't say it's 55 ain't shit, because 50 look 55 is actually around, what was it, I think about 50 something thousand is actually the average that a man makes in the United States. So that's actually the average. So you're a little bit over the average for I think for a single male in America. But in certain areas like Maryland is just an expensive state in which to live, and the BW area is the most expensive part of Maryland in which to live, unless you live in like one of those exclusive unless you live in one of those really exclusive parts of Maryland, outside of the BW area, like uh well, no, that is within the BW area. I was gonna say Bel Air, Bel Air, Maryland, or Potomac, Maryland. That's why you got the show The Real Housewives of Potomac. Yeah, that's in the Washington D.C. area. That's in Montgomery County where I used to live. Then you have way over on the out past like Ocean City on the the eastern shore. You have a really expensive, exclusive area, places where like politicians and stuff live. So if you ever saw the movie Wedding Crashers, the place where they were at, that was on the eastern shore of Maryland. That really, the place where the guy was getting married to the chick, and the father was like a U.S. senator or something like that. He was living. That place was on the eastern shore of Maryland. That area is a really exclusive, expensive place to live, and that's outside of the BW area. But it just shows that Maryland in total pretty expensive. A lot of people end up, if they can, living in Pennsylvania, and then they would just commute to Baltimore because just living across the state line in Pennsylvania is cheaper than living in Maryland. So it's just what parts of the North you choose to live that are more or less affordable. Like I said, Pennsylvania more affordable than Maryland. But if you want to live in places like New York City, um, Newark, well, no, actually Newark is cheaper than New York City. Sorry, but like there are expensive parts of northern New Jersey, but some of those expensive parts of North Jersey or New York City or DC or Philly or Baltimore or Boston can can really strain someone's pocket um, if they're making the average if they're making the national average, if that makes sense. Cars roaches are no joke. Yeah, man. Because after once or twice it happens when you get a when you feel something crawling on you at night, then you're just gonna have that constant fear, that terror that something's gonna crawl on you at night. That was so uncomfortable. Like I don't know why I kept coming back to my cousin's house every weekend, especially when I was living in Silver Spring. Well, I know why. It's because my father was such an asshole that I literally would go because I was in college at the time, but I was living at home because I was at the local community school before I transferred to the University of Maryland. But that first year, I was going a community college, and so during the weekend, I would hang out with my cousin just to get away from my father. Like it was that he was that bad of an asshole that I would literally go. To, I would literally like go to East Baltimore, one of the worst parts of Baltimore City, just to hang out with my cousin for the weekend to get away from my father. That's how bad it was, roaches and all. I preferred that over dealing with my father for the weekend because he was such an incredible prick. And like I wasn't doing anything wrong. Like I was literally working and going to school full time. So there was no reason to fuck with me. But he was just a. I'm not gonna get into that. I've gone into my issues with my folks in previous videos and live streams. I'm not gonna rehash it here unless someone asks. ASM 6789 says $100. I don't know what you're talking about, but he said I've seen a local crackhead steal the radio out of someone's car. Yeah, they don't care. Anything that is not bolted down or tied down, a junkie a junkie will steal it. Not just junkies. People who are sober will steal shit just because they can. Especially Amazon deliveries. Oh, they can't wait. They can't wait to see someone drop off an Amazon delivery just so they can steal that shit. It don't matter what it is. It could be you could have ordered like not me, but you could have ordered like a 12-inch dildo, and I guarantee someone will steal that shit, and it will be a dude. Yes, and so yeah, stealing just to steal can't even be sold. Yeah, they don't care. Like even if they can't sell it, they'll just steal it just because it's free to take for them. That's that is the nigger mindset. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be me. I'm not not trying to be all harsh to our lower class brothers, but niggas love to steal. He's like Chris Rock would say, you move as soon as you move in somewhere, he said niggas are breaking your house. And then the next day, be like, heard you got robbed. He's like, yeah, I know you heard I got robbed, but you the one that did it, nigga. Like, what the hell? Timothy Arnold says Black City's a terribleness. You ain't lying. I mean, I and people get mad at me saying, "Oh, you just hate black man." No, I I hate dumb shit that low class, low value black people do, and then when they're called out on it, they want to yell racism because they don't want to take accountability for the degeneracy in our community. Timothy says he had needed 155,000. Yeah, like I said, housing. I'm glad I have a house overseas because I do not want to. I don't want to buy a property here, honestly. And even when it comes to investment property, I'd rather buy investment property overseas in the Philippines than here. That way, I don't have to worry about dealing with it. Like coming. That way, I don't have to worry about having to coming back to Maryland to deal with it, or to rely on someone here to be my property manager, because you got to have a lot of trust that that property manager isn't going to do you dirty. So yeah, Timothy says it's hard to find a 55,000 a year job in Shreveport, Bassia del Croix. What is what do you mean? Is that a neighborhood? Is that a neighborhood in Shreveport, Bassia del Croix? Sorry, I'm not trying to sound all French or whatever. Carter says, fun question. The U.S. military versus Godzilla, King Kong, and their monster friends, no nukes allowed. Who wins? Oh, come on, bro. If they can't even use, first of all, you should allow them to use the nukes. You know why? They're still going to lose. if you if you use the nukes on God, I don't know about King Kong, but if you using nukes on Godzilla or King Ghidorah, what's it? Ghidorah? Is it Ghidorah? And Mothra, that's not going to kill them. That's what created them. Like Godzilla was basically Japan's was was a fictional manifestation of Japan's reaction to the atomic bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And then later, when they were doing the hydrogen bomb testing out in the Pacific Islands, like like the I think like the Atoll Islands and areas like that, when they were doing all the hydrogen bomb testing, that in the original mythos, that is what created Godzilla and the nuclear testing out there. Um, so I think the nuclear bombs, I don't know, depending on what version of Godzilla we going with, I think the nuclear bombs actually uh, get energize Godzilla, like they give him more power. So I would say should at least give the U.S. military the nukes. That at least that would give them at least a fighting chance against some of the kaiju, the big monsters, the kaiju. At least King Kong, they could bring down King Kong with nukes. But again, King Ghidorah, who's more powerful than Godzilla, and Mecha Godzilla and Mothra, it's not going to take them down. It's not going. Like I said, if anything, it might make them more powerful because Godzilla literally shoots out uh like nuclear power blast out of his mouth. The classic sound. like, yeah, the nukes aren't going to stop the kaiju, other than King Kong and well, I guess Mighty Joe Young. I guess Mighty Joe Young is a kaiju, right? And the other lesser Kongs. It'll take out all of the eight kaiju, but all those little reptilian kaiju or even Mothra. Although Mothra she's usually a good guy, but I don't think nukes would stop Mothra either. To be honest, 50-50 with Mothra. Um, it would definitely take out the Kongs, but King Ghidorah and Godzilla and Mecha Godzilla, and I think there's an alien Godzilla as well. I'm not even sure, but those nukes ain't gonna handle them. So yeah, the military the military would get washed um, if they went against the kaiju without nukes. Even with the nukes, they're still gonna get washed, but at least they can take out a few of the monsters before they catch that L. Juice World says, "Are you a buster? Is that a West Coast buster? Are you a trick? Are you a trick ass Mark ass trick ass buster ass trick, buster ass buster, trick ass trick, Mark ass Mark?" Isaac Newton says, "Humid though." Bebo says to Timothy, "Oh, if you're not military, healthcare, or public service is hard. I'm a firefighter picking up some extra shifts." Yeah. Um. Like I said, because you're a first responder, I know they have. So I don't think the VA service first responders, but I'm pretty sure as a public servant, as a firefighter, you will qualify for an FHA loan at the least, so you don't have to get like a commercial loan, a commercial loan through like Freddie Mae or Fannie Mac. No, sorry, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Sorry, got those wrong. Although some people prefer the commercial loans over the FHA. It depends, like you know, if you have the money to put down, that way you don't have to pay that mortgage insurance that you have to do for the FHA loan. So it all depends because this is stuff I used to do with my job, working. I worked for well, I did, I still do, lead generation and direct marketing, and uh, most of our clients are mortgage and bank lenders. So that was a stuff I got really familiar with. So a lot of people. So some people preferred FHA loans, some people preferred commercial loans. It probably just depended on how much money they had to work with. So Beeble says Cebu Airways economy class legroom is probably going to be difficult for you. Oh, legroom. No, I haven't flown. I haven't. Are you from the Philippines or you just flown there, Beeble? But uh, I haven't flown Cebu Airways, but I've flown the Philippine uh what's it yeah, it's just called, well, yeah, Philippine Airlines. They were great. Like they were, look, and plus flight attendants overseas are so fucking pretty. I swear, like in Thailand and Taiwan, in Indonesia and the Philippines, these flight attendants are so fucking beautiful. Like that is a requirement. Like they have to be beautiful. The way it used to be here back during the Mad Men era. Back during the Mad Men era when all the flight attendants were beautiful and guys could shoot their shot at them and all that sort of stuff. Um, I mean, it's still like that overseas, like in these East Asian, Southeast Asian countries. And it was the flights were great. So I would, again, I haven't flown Cebu Airways, but I would assume that it's similar to the Philippine airline. Um, and they were it was comfortable. Like I wasn't, I didn't feel cramped up with me and my wife there. I mean, I'm not that tall of a person. Like I'm like 5'10", fully stretched out. Pause, pause. But so I'm not that tall, so it's not that uncomfortable for me. But if if I did have an issue with it, I would just I would just penny throw in a few pennies because the cheaps there are really really cheap because the Philippines doesn't. Well, I'm assuming you already know the Philippines because you already know about Cebu Airways. So if you already know the Philippines, they don't really have an interstate travel system. So pretty much to get anywhere around the country, you gotta fly. So if you're living in Luzon, say like in Manila or Angela City, or somewhere, or Rizal or somewhere like that, you but you want to go to Cebu or somewhere else in the Visayas or down to like Siargao or Cagayan de Oro, like you're flying, right? Like there's no flights. I mean, there's no interstate highways. Although I mean, you literally can drive to those places, but it's gonna be really inconvenient. I mean, you'll get to see the country, but it'll be really inconvenient because not everywhere has like there's not connected roads, so it's gonna be a lot of maneuvering. You'll have to take like um what do you call the little ships where you gotta put the what are the boats do you put the cars on? I'm sorry, my words are eluding me here, but you have to do some of that to get to some of these other islands in the south of the Philippines. And it would be really inconvenient trying to drive to those places. You can, but it would be really inconvenient. So most people just fly. So um, domestic flights within the Philippines are really cheap. So if you are a tall person, say you're like 6'5", you can easily, ante up to like business class or even first class without breaking your pockets. Like it won't break your pockets to ante up to business class on like a local flight in the Philippines, whether it's like the Philippine Airlines or Cebu Airways or whatever. I forgot the other one. It's like three or four different local airlines out there. But like I said, the only one I remember is Philippine Airlines being on that one because we took that out to Malaysia, and that it was cool. Like it was comfortable, and even though Malaysia was like only like 2 hours away, any any flight um where you go into another country, you get a meal. So that was cool. Chris says I wouldn't go to Dubai right now. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I definitely wouldn't either, Chris. Yeah, because Iran is lobbying fucking missiles at the embassy, I think at the U.S. embassy in Dubai, and didn't Israel accidentally hit the North Korean embassy in I think I think in Iran. I think it was in Iran because right now we're not just fighting Iran. Now we're also fighting Hezbollah. Hezbollah is out of Lebanon, but they've been for years funded by the Iranian government. So this is starting to get pretty bad. And I warned friends years ago in in my little black travel groups, like guys, y'all might want to like tamp it down in the Middle East. They was like, well, Dubai is fine. I'm like, yeah, for right now, Dubai is fine. I was like, but that may not persist. And I'm sorry that I was right, but yeah, now Dubai is not safe either because they was like, ain't nothing happening in Dubai, man. All right, and I was like, all right, whatever. I was like, things have a way of spreading in the Middle East, and I was right. So whatever. And yeah, Snooki from Jersey Shore, Chris. That's what I was thinking about. Back in the day, she could have got it. I'm not gonna even lie. I never watched the show, but I distinctly remember like pretty much everyone on the cast was considered annoying and entitled, but she could have got it. But anyway, but yes, I was confusing her with this character, um, who was a black chick on The Wire, because her name also started with S, and I think it was like it wasn't Snooky, but it was like Snoop or Shoop I can't remember. Someone who's a loyal watcher of The Wire could tell me what her name was. I can't remember because I didn't really watch the show like that. Chris's South Park made fun of her. Yeah, they made fun of a lot of folks. Now South Park is becoming unwatchable itself because now it seemed like the creators, Trey Park, was it what's their names, Matt Trey Park and Matt Stone or whatever, like they seem to have Trump derangement syndrome right now. Whereas like everything they do is just making fun of. They had a whole season just literally like roasting Trump. Like I don't mind. I mean, I voted for him. I like him, but I have a sense of humor. I don't care if you roast someone that I like. But when you spend the entire season just doing that, and then you switched him out for Saddam Hussein because it used to be like Saddam Hussein who they used to make fun of being in like a romantic relationship with Satan. Now they swapped him out for Trump, and it's like you guys are just you guys used to make fun of political hobbyists, people who made their whole like shtick or persona about uh politics. They used to make fun of that. Now they're doing the very thing that they used to mock. So South Park has become kind of unwatchable. Like if you watch the previous seasons, it's still good, but the last two seasons have I think been a bit unbearable. Chris says she was a meme at best. Yeah, that's fair. Chris says Tubi ironically has some pretty good gems. It really does. I keep trying to tell my friend that, well, he knows now, but he thought Tubi only had like bad black films. And I'm like, yo, Tubi doesn't just have bad black films. I was like, they really have a large library of content because they a lot of the movies and TV series on Tubi are the same that you can find on Prime or on Pluto TV. And Pluto TV has gotten better too because Pluto TV is now being bundled up with Paramount TV because Paramount bought them and they've been bundled with that. And it's going to be even bigger now because now Paramount is buying out Warner Brothers Discovery. So Paramount outbid Netflix for Warner Brothers. Because I remember 3 months ago Netflix was all touting their flexing. Oh, we bought Warner Brothers, but it was never finalized. Even though they were already on Instagram and on Facebook saying that they bought Warner Brothers, and Paramount outbid them because Paramount was already bought out last year by Skydance, and Skydance has a lot of money to play with. Um, so they actually gave a larger bid for Warner Brothers Discovery than Netflix did. Plus, unlike Netflix, they want to keep all the all the cable channels as well. Netflix, they were gonna buy out Warner Brothers Discovery and then sell off the cable channels like CNN and Discovery Channel and all that sort of stuff. So Paramount wants to keep all of that in house, and they offered them more money. So it looks like they're going to finalize their buyout. Which and what they said is they're going to merge Paramount TV with HBO Max. It's going to be all one big streaming platform, which means that's going to be Pluto TV combined. Pluto TV, Paramount TV, HBO Max, um, which is going to make it a direct rival to Netflix because Netflix right now is still the giant of streaming. Um, and my point is like Tubi has a large film uh, category, a lot of and like I was trying to tell my friend, I was like the stuff you find on Tubi for free is on Netflix where you got to pay for it because the thing is a lot of these the film studios license out their content to all these different streaming services. So for 1 month, it'll be like it'll be on Tubi. Then the next month it'll be on Netflix. Then it'll be on Pluto TV. Then it'll be on Amazon Prime. And they just keep making money rotating their content out between these different streaming services. And the funny thing is, on one streaming service, you're paying to see this stuff on Netflix, whereas on Tubi, you can watch the shit for free, which is crazy. The fact that I'm that I watch something for free on Tubi and the next month is on Netflix, it shows you it's not worth. It may not be worth having all these different channels. You should probably just buy if you want to buy one streaming service. Probably the only one worth getting right now is Netflix, and for everything else, you should just sail the seven seas if you get what I mean. Yar. If it's not on a free streaming service like Tubi, Amazon Prime has this free component now where you just watch stuff with commercials, like with Tubi and Pluto TV. So yeah, the only one worth paying for is Netflix, and even Netflix has been playing around with commercials as well. So yeah, Chris says I love them indie films. They do, yeah, they do have a few good indie films on there as well. like I've seen some of their bad black films just out of curiosity, but they have a lot of good. Well, the indie films I usually watch are like foreign films. They have a lot of good foreign films on there from like different countries. So I watch that stuff. Um, but it's worth having. Tubi is definitely worth having because, like I said, the same stuff you're watching on Netflix and you're actually paying for it will be on Tubi either before it came on Netflix or after it came on Netflix, and it's free. So, because it'll be funny because I'll be watching something with my wife, or we're about to watch it, and now it's no longer on Tubi. Just and next thing we know is it's on Netflix. I'm like, oh, that's why it's not on Tubi anymore. It's now available on Netflix. That's crazy. Carlin says an Amazon driver stole my sister's package. She caught him on Ring camera. Wait, what? So you know his ass was fired because you know Amazon don't play that shit. Amazon don't play that. I know he got him like, and you don't want to get fired from Amazon because it's, I mean, because y'all, Amazon is something like like because first of all, like if you get fired from Amazon, they're not gonna let you at their warehouse. But that's at the very bottom is the Amazon warehouse. The Amazon, you already at the bottom of the barrel of the Amazon warehouse. But if you got fired as a driver, they're not gonna let you work at the warehouse. So you got nowhere else to go but down from there. You end up in one of them little uh, warehouses that isn't Amazon, um, and be working them working them little conveyor belts like on 8 Mile. But why would the driver steal shit? That's crazy. That's stupid. Tell me this, Carlton. You know what I would ask you, right? He was black, right? I'm just I'm just saying. Got some Pocky. I forgot to buy some fruit snacks today, guys. I gotta go back to the store and get me some fruit snacks, but they buy me some Pocky, little Japanese uh, snacks. Like if you ever watch anime and the people always eating Pocky, these people really do love Pocky over there. These are good. These the cookies and cream Pocky. Bongo, but kind of says greetings to all from the shore of Lake Ontario in Oswego, New York. Shout out to Bongo. Agla, what's up? She says hello, sir. Happy Friday, Friday the 13th. Our cousin says 10 Delta Force soldiers versus Captain America. No weapons or shield. Who wins? Bro, it's Captain America. I hate to tell you this, but even Batman would take out 10 Delta Force soldiers. Actually, there's a new. Check out this YouTube channel called Nerd Science. They are really good with that stuff. They actually got a new video out right now. It says Special Forces versus Batman. Who wins? I'm about to watch that. Wait, what else? I was going. Oh, so now I got two things to watch. So I'm gonna watch the 2000s reboot of Friday the 13th because last month I said I was going to do it and I totally forgot to watch it. Um, so this time I'm going to watch it, but now I'm also going to watch that because you brought up the question 10 Delta Force. So I'm gonna tell you right now, it was going to be Captain America. It's going to be Captain America. That is no diss to Delta Force soldiers whatsoever, but within the fictional reality of Captain America, yes, he would beat the ass because Batman would beat them. Remember, and remember in the Dark Knight, in the Christopher Nolan movies, this wasn't even the DC. This wasn't even comic book accurate Batman. The Christopher Nolan Batman, played by Christian Bale, was a Batman grounded in reality. And even in that film, The Dark Knight, he still bested an entire team of SWAT officers. SWAT officers are trained usually by former special operations personnel. Like a lot of training they do is with special ops or by former special ops personnel, and and particularly they'll come out not too far from my old college campus in College Park. They'll go out, uh, past Route One and what's that area? It's like right before you get to Laurel, Maryland. There's this huge stretch of land where they train all sorts of military, SWAT, and federal agents out there. I forgot the name of that area, but it was funny because me and my Indian friend a long time ago, when we would be riding down Route One, we were like, what are they doing with all this vast tract of land? No, it never dawned on us that all of this was owned by all of that all of that area was owned by the federal government, which was used for training military and law enforcement and and intelligence community officers. So anyway, all this to say, Batman would beat them because even in the grounded reality of the Christopher Nolan film, The Dark Knight, he still bested an entire team of SWAT who were um and not only did he have to defeat SWAT, he had to do it without killing them, and he had to do it while freeing them from the Joker's henchmen. Because remember, in The Dark Knight, he dressed up the officers. He kidnapped them and put the Joker henchmen costumes on them, and then the so-called officers were really his henchmen in disguise. So he had to take them out while also handling the SWAT officers at the same time without trying to harm them, while rescuing the ones that were captured by the Joker's henchmen who were pretending to be them. That was like one of the dopest scenes ever. Like The Dark Knight was snubbed for not getting the best movie of the year in 2008. I mean, it still won two Oscars that year. One for what's his name playing the best supporting actor as the Joker, and I think they also won like best score or best soundtrack or something like that. But they got snubbed for best movie of the year, and ever since that, because of them getting snubbed in 2008, they've allowed comic book films to be able to get best movie of the year because of the snubbing of that. That's what actually led to the Black Panther getting best movie of the year, because they didn't want to snub another great film just because it fell under the category of comic book or superhero movie. But in any case, if a grounded reality Batman can beat an entire team of SWAT while also taking out the Joker's henchmen, the comic book accurate Batman could definitely take out special forces, and pretty much anything Batman can do, Captain America can do on top of that. Now, the funny thing is, Batman can actually beat Captain America in a fight, but both of them have admitted if the fight was to prolong um, over an extended period of time, eventually Captain America will win because he is indefatigable. Like when he says I can do this all day, he literally means he can do this all day. The super soldier serum keeps him from ever becoming exhausted. Like he has like unlimited stamina. That's why he always says I can do this all day, because he literally he literally can. So you can beat him if you're big and bad enough, like Batman. You can beat him, but you gotta put him down quickly, because if it's a knockdown drag on fight, Captain America will eventually win just because he is tireless, you know, So, anyway, I know that the long ass answer, but yeah, Captain America, no shield would still beat them. Remember the remember the guy? He he was actually a super villain. The guy he fought in the beginning of Winter Soldier, he was actually doing the French kickboxing art Savat. I practiced Savat. He was the one who's like, put the shield down. Let's, and then he's trying to say it in French, and Captain America, because he's that, just because he's that dude, responded to him in French. I don't need the shield. He put it on his back, and they both went at it. Captain America's that dude. He doesn't need the shield to kick your ass. The shield is just the creme de la creme of beating your ass, because he whips it around like a boomerang, and people don't think he's smart. He actually mathematically projects where his shield will go when he throws it. But prior to him throwing it, he actually does like a he actually does like some vector algebra to figure out where to throw the shield so it can land exactly where he needs it to be. So he's badass for real, for real. And yeah, he doesn't need a shield to whip tens. Again, no diss. I'm I'm prior service too, guys. So don't sit there and be like, "Oh, you fucking dweeb. You never served. How would you know?" I'm just saying, in the context of the of the comic book reality, yes, Captain America will whip them, no weapons, no shield, and hate to say it as well, but so would Batman and probably Nightwing as well. Agus says, "What's your take on the price of gas and what's going on in the straits?" Uh, well, I'll say this: Iran wants to bring the drama. They're definitely bringing it. If they're going to try to if they're going to try to impede our oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, which is the most trafficked uh, area in the world for the purposes of oil, they're going to catch it. Like, there's going to be, look, put it this way: there's going to be a new Ayatollah every week, because they're going to keep they're going to keep assassinating him. And I don't care what. See, he's thinking. So the new guy, I think he's like the grandson of the original Ayatollah, whatever. He may be thinking, "Oh, I'm safe because they can't drop where I'm at now. They can't drop. They can't drop a airstrike on me." First of all, I highly doubt that's true, because again, we have drone we now have drones so precise, like they can literally target your home from outer space. This is one of the things that Space Force does. If if they wanted to get me right now, they can get me right now, all the way from outer space. All the way from outer space, okay? But let's just say I'm bunkered in some discreet location underground. Okay, cool. Guess what? Remember those previously mentioned Delta Force boys? Yeah. Put it this way. Yeah, in the fictional world of Marvel or DC, Captain America and Batman can defeat them. But in in this world, in this life, in this in the world we encompass, if they want to get someone, if they need to infiltrate somewhere and exfiltrate, they can and will. It don't matter who, doesn't matter where. They are trained to do that. They are the best of the best of the best. Like, when you're talking about Delta Force or CAG, as they like to call themselves, they don't call themselves Delta Force, but if you're talking about them Delta Force boys, they are the tip of the spear. And if they want to get someone, they will get someone. So this guy can talk all this bullshit about the blocking the Hormuz, the Straits of Hormuz, if he wants. But I guarantee there's gonna be a new leader talking the same shit next week, because they ain't gonna be around. Like, watch, we've already taken out three of the. We've already taken out three of these Ayatollahs. We took out the original one from the '80s. Then we took out his replacement. Then we took out his replacement. This guy's next. Like, you You can keep on if you want, but at this point, Trump's saying he's not even negotiating with them. He wants to obliterate their leadership and have a whole new regime change out there. Um, that might be harder done than said, but I guarantee a guy thinking he, he's going to their forces are going to hold to block the Strait of Hormuz. Uh uh-uh, uh 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 I doubt it. I guess it's just fill up my tanks and it's unbelievably costly. Oh yeah, and that's so one of the things I disagree with Trump was saying. He was like, all they're doing. He's like being that the U.S. is the largest oil producer in the world. All it's doing is um, making us richer by them trying to block the Strait of Hormuz and impeding the flow of oil. That may be true, but that doesn't trickle down to the average American. You're talking about the oil tycoons and the investors and shareholders. They're the ones going to get wealthy off of this. The average American is going to feel the cost of it at the gas station. Um, like I said, luckily I don't have a vehicle right now, so it doesn't it doesn't directly affect me. Although it will still directly affect me because when I'm using Uber or Lyft, it's going to drive up costs. Um, Not to mention, even if I use public transportation, it might drive up the cost of public transportation if they got to pay more for gas or diesel to fill their vehicles. Then that cost increase is going to come down. Is going to be it's going to trickle down to the consumer, of course. Um, but yeah, I would say this: it's a good time to invest in places like Halliburton and some of these other firms that are part of the military industrial complex. I have a few dollars in a few of those places, but yeah, things are gonna be costly right now because Iran is threatening our oil supply by trying to block the Strait of Hormuz so that our oil tankers can't get through. Luckily, we have a big supply coming through Venezuela right now. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Yeah, we have oil coming through Venezuela, and I think they said they were gonna take the don't quote me on this, but uh, I swear I heard on the news they were gonna uh, remove the embargo on the Russian oil that was placed on it during the Ukraine Russian war. So you know you block one source of oil, and that really hurts the Middle East anyway because that is the only precious natural resource that is really the only natural resource that the Middle East has is their oil. Outside of oil, let's be honest, we wouldn't give a fuck about that vast desert area. Like it may be the birthplace of civilization, but right now, but in in contemporary times, it's an insignificant part of the world. If it weren't for the oil, if it weren't for the oil in the Middle East, that would be an insignificant part of the world. Let's be honest. They don't really have much other precious natural resources that we really covet in the Western world, other than their oil and Middle Eastern baddies. But the problem with Middle Eastern baddies, they want you to be Muslim. But anyway, um, this is how I call them. What's up in your neck of the woods? Is it just chilling? Colin says, though United Emirates flights attendants, woo wee. Oh yeah, and the airline. You see the airlines? I haven't been on one of them, but damn, those airlines look swanky. They are nice, but yeah. bro. The flight attendants overseas are all baddies. Like over here, we got these little Lizzo looking flight attendants and these little sour cigarette smelling looking Pamela Anderson and not Pamela Anderson at the height of her career, like doing Baywatch when she was beautiful. Talking about Pamela Anderson now, how she looks now. That's what a lot of the American flight attendants look like. Meanwhile, if you're taking some flight in the Middle East, these women look like you like like you died in the you died fighting for Allah, and now you're being rewarded with your virgins in heaven. Like that's that's what these flight attendants look like in the Middle East. And if you're in East Asia, it looked like you just landed in that little brothel with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. I'm telling you, the flight attendants overseas are beautiful. Matt Stone, yeah, yeah, that's right. Carlos is getting ready to go for a bite. Yeah, I'm about to get off anyway. It's late for me. Um, I gotta get up early. Carlos says, yeah, the Amazon driver was black. I knew it. I knew it. I didn't want to say it. No, I did want to say it. I knew it. The goat Q10 says, can you tell me about World War One and how it started, bro? Now, no. Well, I'll tell you. It basically just started because Europe was very fractious and tribal at the time. Someone decided to assassinate the Archduke of what country was that? Prussia or whatever. I don't remember. And that kicked off World War One. Like you can ask, you can go to Wikipedia. I don't trust Wikipedia's resource as a resource. Never have. I don't know why it started become. I don't know how in the last few years it's become a trustworthy source. Both in college and in high school, they used to tell us that Wikipedia should not be used as a for our for our sources for our papers that we were doing for our research. Now people are acting like Wikipedia is like something to be trusted. It's not. Anywho, you can ask ChatGPT or Google Gemini, or you can do it the old-fashioned way, the way we used to do it when I was a kid, which is we read it, we cracked open an encyclopedia and actually read stuff. When I was a kid, they used to make our parents buy us encyclopedias. They used to sell encyclopedias at the supermarket, and used to have door-to-door salesmen come to, come to people's houses trying to sell them encyclopedias. Um, Usually with the intention that this would be for the family, particularly for the kids, because the kids needed this information. But anyway, you can always do it the old fashioned way. You can go to one of those online encyclopedias. See, you can do it the easy way. You don't even have to actually crack open a physical encyclopedia like we did. We used, like, when I needed to get information when I was a kid, I either cracked open an encyclopedia physically, a physical book, or I had to hike it to the library because we didn't have the World Wide Web. We had internet, but we didn't have the World Wide Web back then. So anytime we needed to know something, it was either ask your parents, open up an encyclopedia, or go to the library. Um, so you can do this at the touch of a fingertip. You can go to an online encyclopedia and read out about how World War One started, all the divisiveness that was going on at the time, and how it got started with the assassination of this Archduke of the country I cannot remember. Agus says that's crazy. The Amazon driver did that, Carlton, and to find out he was black. Of course, he was black because I'm not going to say it, but yeah. Agus says what's going on with my people. This is embarrassing. Why? I'm surprised that you're surprised. The first thing, as soon as he said that the Amazon driver drove, the Amazon driver stole it, I already assumed that it was a black person. I already assumed. Because yeah, people these days are wild. Shaking my head. Uh, KU Mars. Mobasser 476 is average Americans getting ripped off for no reason. I think referring to what I was talking about with the oil and gas prices. I guess it was enjoying the price of gas we had before. Well, yeah, after we had knocked off Maduro and basically took Venezuela, we were doing we were doing well for a bit, but things happen. She said I won't fly to the Middle East right now. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I really wouldn't recommend it. Not when airstrikes are flying every which way. You got Israel and U.S. lobbing missiles at Hezbollah and Iran. Iran and Hezbollah are launching them not only at Israel, which is being, you know, mostly protected by their the dome, whatever you call it, and now they want to do one. They want to build some sort of dome for America right now too. They've been having talks about that, but not only that, but Iran has been launching strikes at embassies in other countries like the UAE and Qatar. I'm like, and Saudi Arabia. I'm like, seriously? They all they're going to do with them launching strikes at our embassies in these other countries, all they're going to do, they're going to force these countries to ally with us and Israel and Iran. And like I said, Iran has had this ass whipping for the longest. They've been asking for this ass whipping for like the past 48 years. Like we we owe them some get back for all them for the hostage crisis back in 1979 and for what they did in 1982 and for funding Hezbollah and Hamas and other terrorist organizations throughout the years and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, which themselves are classified as a terrorist organization, which is their military. Like they've been asking for this ass whipping for a long time. We we funded and backed Saddam Hussein back in the 80s, basically as a hedge against Iran. So, Carlin said the news said the new supreme leader is disfigured. I wonder what his injuries are. We would have bombed the Hamas fate. The U.S. will do not have their oil. This he's luckily he's disfigured and not in the ground. So like I said, that's gonna be the next step. Like I said, they keep talking the shit, and they're actually daring us to send ground troops because they're confident that the Iran Revolutionary Guard can hold up against our conventional forces. What they don't realize is we don't have to just rely on our conventional forces. We have the best trained special operators in the world. As a matter of fact, our special operators, particularly the Army Special Forces, the Green Berets, go to other countries to train their military. That is that is a big that's a big part of the mission of Army Special Forces is they actually go overseas other to train our allies military personnel. So if they think they're only going to be dealing with our conventional forces, they got they got another thing coming. What's up, Joe? He said, "Man, I forgot about encyclopedias. He's always wanted an Encyclopedia Britannica, but we were poor." Now I didn't have the encyclopedia. I didn't even know about the Encyclopedia Britannica until I was like a teenager. I had the World Book Encyclopedia, and they're still publishing to this day. At least the last, they still have the current volume. I think came out in 2022 or 2023 because they don't come out every year. They update every, I think, like 5 or 10 years, but they're still publishing physical. I think they're the only encyclopedia, at least in America, that's still publishing an actual physical copy of the encyclopedia, and that's the one I had back in the '80s was World Book Encyclopedia. Then I also had, I actually had two different sets of encyclopedias. I had World Book Encyclopedia, and then I had another one which was just a science encyclopedia. I can't remember the name of them. So I had two sets of encyclopedia, but World Book was the biggest set I had because they it was like 22 volumes of it, whereas the other one it was so like piecemeal. I think like at the supermarket or whatever. So uh, every time, like every few months or every month or so, they would have the new volume come out. So we would just keep getting each volume of the encyclopedia every time we went to the supermarket. But uh, yeah, I never had Encyclopedia Britannica in the '80s. Like I really didn't even know about it until like I was like maybe 12, 13, or 14, something like that. But World Book Encyclopedia was the one I had, and they're still actively publishing. Like you can buy them on Amazon right now. Matter of fact, I almost bought them 5 years ago. Or no, 4, yeah, about 4 years ago, I almost um bought it. But I was like, where am I going to put it? I'm so strapped for space, both here and in the Philippines. I was like, I don't know if it would be worth buying a physical set of the World Book Encyclopedia, which would take up so much space. Plus, like I said, they get updated like every 10 years or so. So it's probably just better to have an online version of it now. But back in the day, that wasn't really an option having an online version. The closest, you know, the you remember Joe, like the closest we had to like online digital media was microfilm, right? Like we you had to go to the library and go to the microfiche machine and load the microfilm for what you wanted to find. And the libraries still have it, by the way. I'm not sure if they still teach kids how to use the microfiche, but they still have them because a lot of those old periodicals, I don't think were ever updated to the internet. Most of it has, but a lot of stuff I think is still stuck on microfilm. So you actually have to still view it on a microfiche machine. But that those were our options back then. Like like you looked up stuff in encyclopedia, you went to the library, used the Dewey Decimal System to find periodicals in the nonfiction section of the library, or you had the librarian go get you the little microfilm so that you could use the microfiche and find information in like old newspaper clippings or old magazine articles or whatever. But I won't say you were poor because, hey, like I'm probably sure we couldn't afford Encyclopedia Britannica too. But like I said, they used to. But remember, they used to sell those encyclopedias by the volume instead of buying the whole set. Like, yeah, if you had money, you could probably buy the whole set. But some of the ones that were brand new, they didn't even publish them as a whole set. You had to buy them piecemeal anyway. And like I said, they used to sell them either at the supermarket or door to door. Joe Kenzie said, Iranian regime has been a problem since I was a kid. Exactly. That's what I said. Millennials and Gen Z don't notice. They just look at Trump as like, oh, he's just being an authoritarian trying to go. He's just trying to be a warmonger, not realizing we literally been having problems with them since the late '70s, since '79. And like I said in the previous live stream, I don't think you were here, Joe, but I literally said that part of the reason Jimmy Carter lost his reelection to Ronald Reagan in 1980 was because he appeared soft on foreign policy because of the Iran hostage crisis, And on top of that, he launched a failed operation to attack Iran at that. So he was seen as weak on foreign matters, and that was part of a big reason why he lost his election. Like I said, in the 1980s, Iran was a problem as well. When I think they in 1982, I think they took down a commercial airline or something like that. They've just been a problem. And in Top Gun Maverick, it wasn't stated what that country was, but it was not hard to figure out that they were heavily implying that that country that they were that they did that strike against in Top Gun Maverick was Iran. Like it's heavily implied without actually saying Iran that it was Iran. Just like in the original Top Gun movie, they don't say it, but it's heavily implied that they were fighting against the Soviet Union and those like because those MiGs were Soviet jets. So they didn't have to literally say that this was the Soviet Union to know that the the MiG jets were the Soviets. Joe said World Book is awesome. Yeah. Like I said, they still have a current publication. Like I said, I think they are still the only encyclopedia publishers that still publish a physical volume. Most of the other encyclopedias have all gone digital now. They still put out up to date information, but all of it's now digital encyclopedias that you get online. Like most of them don't produce don't publish a physical volume anymore. World Book Encyclopedia, to their credit, still publishing a physical copy. And you know, a lot of people who love cracking open a book will still appreciate buying a physical set of encyclopedia. Well, like Ted Mosby says, encyclopedia. No one likes Ted Mosby. Anyway, Agnes says I had the lexicon encyclopedia from my mom. I haven't heard of that one. Nicholas Pierce says, "Do we agree that Mary Poppins is the best Disney movie?" No, we do not. No, we do not agree to Mary Poppins. It was a cute movie, but it is far from the best. And then, what exactly are we considering best Disney movie? Are we just talking about live action, or are we also including animated? Because if we're including animated, then it's not even in the top 10. It's not even the top 10 if you're including. No, I'm sorry. It's not even in the top 20 if we're including animated films. Okay. Even if you include only live action, I'm not sure if it cracks the top 10. It will crack the top 20, but not the top 10. And then we need to be more explicit when we're talking about live action Disney. Are we talking about only stuff that says Disney Studios, or are we also including Touchstone? Because you know, you nerds out there, you know, the Touchstone was a Disney was a Disney film studio as well, but they put it under the label Touchstone so they could make more adult oriented films, whereas Disney specifically was supposed to be specifically for like family oriented content, but Touchstone was more for like more R rated or PG-13 type stuff. So yeah, if we're including Touchstone, then again, it's not even in the top. It's not even in the top 20. So if we're only limited it to live action films that are only Disney, um, it's still not the top 10. I'm sorry. It'll be the top 10 if and only if we limit the live action Disney films to specifically those little family friendly movies that came out between like the 60s to the I guess 60s to like the 90s or 2000s. Then I'll put it in the top 10. That's the only way Mary Poppins is, but it's still It still wouldn't be the best. I'm sorry, it's not. I liked the film when I was a kid, but the best? No, I'm sorry. You are you from overseas? Because there's a lot of Disney content you must not have not seen if you made that making that the best Disney movie. Like I said, I don't know if you're including animated stuff. I don't know if you're including the Touchstone stuff, the Pixar stuff. And you gotta remember now that Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm are Disney as well. So you got Lucasfilm, Marvel Studios, Pixar, okay, uh, the Disney animated stuff. Um, they also own now. They also now own 20th Century Fox, so they got the 20th Century Fox stuff as well. There's no way Mary Poppins is making up is the best movie out of all of that stuff. And like I said, unless you specifically restricting it to like that stuff that came, the family oriented stuff that came out between like the 60s and 90s, something like that. So anyway, Joe says, yeah, information changes so quickly. Like next week, Iran will be a U.S. territory. Man, I wish. Persian baddies for everybody. Last Life Gamer said, what is the topic? Oh, this is just my Ask Me Anything format today. Usually I do have a given topic, and for like the past 2 weeks, I've been discussing religion because I used to always have people come in and offer their unbidden opinions on religious salvation. So I was like, since I always have people coming in here giving people blessings and unasked for salvation, why why did I start discussing that stuff? But that hasn't gone over well because the same people who like to come in and chime in about religious stuff have not attended any of my discussions on religion as of yet, as of late. So Friday, I wanted to be more carefree, so I decided to just do an Ask Me Anything Friday format. So there's no given topic tonight. But I'm about to end this pretty soon. Agnes's Lexicon Encyclopedia was published in England. Oh, that makes sense because that's why I never heard of it. Lexicon. Um, like I said, mine was World Book Encyclopedia and Science. Actually, I had three different. Sorry, I had three different encyclopedia volumes. I don't. This is why I'm so nerdy today. So there was the World Book Encyclopedia. That was my main one. Then there was a encyclopedia of science that I had, and then there was a third one which I can't remember. So I had three. So I'm sorry. I had three different volumes of encyclopedias because that's how nerdy I was. Not that I asked for it. The only one I asked for was the science encyclopedia. I did ask for that one, but the other two I didn't ask for. Like the World Book. And the funny thing is I've read through. I guess my mom studied for her degree at Oxford. Oh, excuse me. So your mom was a Rhodes Scholar. Sound like your mom was a Rhodes Scholar. Excuse me. That's awesome. Um, I would have loved to have been a Rhodes Scholar and studied at Oxford, or even if not a Rhodes Scholar, what's the other scholarship they offer through Cambridge? It's the some the can't remember, but it's similar in degree to the Rhodes Scholarship. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, uh, Bill Clinton was a Rhodes Scholar. Um, yeah, that would have been awesome. Or is your mom from originally overseas? Because I'm assuming you're like Black American, not Caribbean, African American, American, which is fine if you are. But that meant she might have lived overseas originally and got to study there and then came here, which would have been cool. But if she was here and then went there as a Rhodes Scholar or something like that, that's even more impressive. Because with the Rhodes Scholarship, for the other people watching that don't know this, So when you're an American student and you get the Rhodes Scholarship, which means you're accepted to study at Oxford, you you do a bachelor's over there. You basically do a second bachelor's degree overseas at Oxford. But what happens is when you come here 2 years later, it matriculates into a master's degree they because their bachelor's program is more advanced than uh, our universities here. So when you go through the Rhodes Scholarship program at Oxford, it be it like 2 years later after its completion, it matriculates as a master's degree here. Now, some people have went over there and actually studied for a graduate degree there, like our governor Wes Moore here in Maryland. Of course, he didn't complete it, and he's also been very dishonest about the completion of his program there as well. But he's a very dishonest person anyway about his personal life. Like he lies about stupid stuff. Like he lied about his military record, about winning I forgot what award. He never was awarded. He said it was on his DD 214. So he asked if it was all right for him to claim that he was awarded it, which is bullshit because you would have known you received the award before it was put on your DD 214. So he's just a liar. They later did actually award him that, and I think that was only because he was a prominent politician now and businessman. But he was clearly lying because it wasn't in his service record, but he claimed it was already in his service record, so that's why he thought that he could claim that he was awarded that service medal, which he didn't earn. And he claimed that the only reason he didn't actually earn it at the time was the day was a mix up with his name. Like, come on, bro, really? Like, I anyone who's been in the military knows how fucked up the bureaucracy is and how slow moving things are. But then look, I'm sorry, as messed up as the military is on a lot of things, it's not going to take them 10 years to fix receiving a prestigious medal just because of a simple typo in your name. Like that's just bullshit. I mean, he just and that's not even the dumbest. That's not even the dumbest thing he lied about. The dumbest thing he lied about was being a Baltimore native. He's from Tacoma Park, Maryland. I've said this a number of times, which is a Washington D.C. suburb in Montgomery County, Maryland, the wealthiest county in Maryland, and used to be the wealthiest county in the country in the 90s. It's still like in the top three or top four. Um, but he was from Tacoma Park, and then as a little kid, he moved to New York and lived in the Bronx almost his whole life. Um, and he transferred to John Hopkins to to do his degree there. Mind you, he didn't start his he didn't even start his college career at Johns Hopkins, which is in Baltimore. He transferred there, so he was only there for about 2 years before he went on to graduate school, not in Baltimore. Then came back to Baltimore to run as governor, and then lied and said he was a Baltimore native. How? Because you spent 2 years at college here? How are you a Baltimore native? That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. So if I lived, say, in Baltimore all my life, which I haven't, by the way, but let's say uh, I lived in Baltimore all my life, and then you know I as an undergrad, I finished my last 2 years of college at UCLA, and then I came back here or went to Chicago to do my graduate degree, moved back to Baltimore, and decided to move back out to LA and run for governor of California, and then say I'm a Los Angeles native. Would that not be completely disingenuous? And he lies about dumb shit like this all the fucking time. Anywho, um, but yeah, that's where I'm going to end it, guys. Anyway, check out my new toy, my little necklace knife, nice little fixed blade. This is would be primary. This would be like a good self defense weapon. Again, pocket knives are cool, but they're not a primary defense weapon. Those are used. Pocket knives are more of a utility tool, as I was talking about earlier. This would be actually used for like defense. You can, tuck it under your shirt. Don't let your dog tags dangle in the dirt. Pick up your dog tags, stick them in your shirt. So yeah, see that? Can't even see it, and I'm wearing a. You know what I'm saying? This is wild, cool shit. Joseph, keep with the good work. Till next time. Thank you, brother. So where can I purchase? Um, you can go on eBay. You might find some there if they're legal to buy in New York. I don't always gotta check with your state and local laws whether they're um, legal to purchase where you live, because even if they sell them, they're not going to ship them to places where they're illegal to buy. So check first with New York State and New York City laws whether you can even have one. Then two, so you can try eBay or Amazon. Uh, Also, you can go to uh, Jason Hansen Spy Briefs. He sells these as well. Or you can go to one of those little. I'm pretty sure you can go to like one of those malls or flea markets. One of those little flea markets where they have like the there's always going to be like a little Asian boutique that sells weapons and kung fu DVDs and stuff like that. They'll have one of these as well. But yeah, check to see if they're legal to buy in New York first, because if you end up buying one without checking if it's illegal or not, if they're not legal in your state, they're just gonna issue you an instant refund. They're not gonna let you buy it. So yeah, check to see first if they're legal um in your state to buy. They're probably legal to buy, but they're not gonna be guarantee in New York City they're not gonna be legal to have. Although right now, if I were you, and with the current mayor, and you got people yelling Allah Akbar while trying to throw homemade bombs at people because they're protesting the mayor, I would keep a weapon on you if I were you. I'm just saying, if I were you, I would keep something on me in New York City. You got fucking ISIS terrorists openly openly attacking people in New York City. People saw this coming. That's what happened when you have a socialist Muslim foreigner as a mayor. He's not even American. I mean, I guess he's a naturalized citizen. To me, naturalized citizen doesn't count. We should do like other countries. I said this in my video. If you haven't seen my video from 2 weeks ago, Agatha, check it out, please. But yeah, my friend and I were saying, look, people who come here as naturalized citizens should not have the right to vote or to run for office in our country. I was like, I can't do that in the Philippines. I can't I can't vote or run for office in their country. Um, Now, if I become a naturalized citizen there, I think maybe I could. I think maybe I could vote, maybe, but I'm pretty sure I definitely can't run as a naturalized citizen. I think you have to be a native of the country to participate in the full gambit of political activity. And it should be the same way here. We shouldn't allow foreigners to run for office. And that's not a racist thing. I would say that about anyone from any country outside of America coming here that they shouldn't be able to run for office. Now, I mean, yeah, I like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he shouldn't have been able to run. He shouldn't have been able to become the governor when his native land is Austria. I'm like I'm consistent. All right. So I'm not gonna say just because this guy is brown and Muslim that he shouldn't be able to run. I'm saying because he wasn't born here. No one born here should be able to run for political office. Luckily, no foreigner, uh, naturalized citizen or not, can run for president because Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks tried to do that. We was like, and people was like, dude, you're from Turkey. You can't fucking run for like you can't run for president. He's like, well, I can challenge that because depending on how you uh how you parse that law, there might be an exception. I'm like, no, no, no. Just stick to your little cheap ass internet news. Like, fuck no. Like no one's gonna make an exception for you. Of anyone, they're definitely not gonna make an exception for Cenk Uygur to run for the highest office in the land. A dude that likes a dude whose whole news organization is he and his co-host Anna Kasparian crashing out every single day on TV. Like that's all they do. Like they every episode is just them crashing out on stupid shit. They get paid millions of dollars just to sit there and have emotional meltdowns on TV every single day. And he has an eight-figure net worth and she has a seven-figure net worth. And they both lie about not being rich, by the way, as well. Even though you can openly check what their net worth is online. He has an eight-figure net worth. She has a seven-figure net worth. Anywho, but yet they always trying to talk about what's good for America for the common man when neither one of them are the common man. She's not a man, nor is she an average person. Young Chink isn't even an American citizen, and he's not an average person because he has eight-figure net worth. But anyway, that's my ranting for the day. But anyway, check if you guys want something like this. Sorry, it's getting caught up with my dog tags. But yeah, if you guys want something like this, make sure it's legal in your state first. But these are very cool to carry around because this would be a very quick pull during a self defense situation. You don't have to sit there and fumble with it in your pocket and then have to fold out the pocket knife. Like you instantly see how quick that was. And then usually when I'm walking around, I already have something in my hand anyway. I'm walking around with my tactical pen or tactical flashlight if it's at night already in the hand because I'm not playing because the reaction time it would take from the, the the reaction time it would take from something happening and responding to it is too great within that time period, especially it's late and you're caught off guard. You need something already in hand, or at least with this, you can just rip it out as instantly as possible. So, you know, make sure it's legal in your state. Anyway, I'm out. Have a good night, everyone, or a good day if you're overseas. Peace.